The oak doors open in front of you without a sound, and as if a magical hand pulled them wide open. The interior of the library is massive. Rows of volumes cover the walls. Above, you can see the balustrades of another 3 floors, all open in the center so that the light from the stained glass windows in the ceiling can reach the main hall. Tall bookshelves form a corridor in the middle of the main hall. Tables illuminated by light spheres, clearly magical in nature, are placed at regular intervals in the room. The Great Archive of Ethedan, it's frightening and overwhelming. All this knowledge at your disposal makes you feel confused and paralyzed by the infinite choices. A tall figure appears at your side, a druid, judging by their crystal-adorned staff. Their face is serious. Today, you will learn more about one faction in particular, but do not worry. You will be back many times from now on to learn the mysteries of Ethedan. They move one hand in front of you and suddenly you find yourself seated at one of the tables, a pile of books ready for you to study. You grab the volume on top and start reading. The Church of Bright is a monotheistic organized religion that was founded around 250 years ago in the Realm of Thevuin. The 2 founders were a man, Gridios, and a woman, Mephia. Their story is frequently told in the monthly sermons that the church priests run in their buildings of worship, commonly called the braziers. Gridios and Mephia were granted a vision that showed them the one true deity, the blazing Visage. Visage spoke to them, showed them that there is more after death. Life doesn't simply end and souls are not trapped in an endless cycle of reincarnation, as the Druids preach. Visage showed them the Bright Lands, a wonderful place where the followers and worshippers of the deity will reach once their time on earth ends. An eternity of peacefulness and happiness awaits those that follow the guide and principles of Visage. And so Gridios and Mephia started preaching and sharing what they saw, what the great Visage promised, trying to create a flock, gather other like-minded people around them. Visage granted them, who were common humans, powers greater than the ones the Druids possessed. They were then able to impress common folk with these powers, healing grave wounds and illnesses, repairing great damages by just snapping their fingers, controlling the weather, making crops grow faster and stronger, all things that the common people started calling miracles. The church was starting to form. The next step was to influence the upper class and nobility, and that was possible thanks to the hostility of the royal family towards the Druids. The church offered an alternative, something to keep people as far away as possible from the Druidic practices. This had to be the only truth in the realm. Visage is the real wielder of power and is able to grant these and more to whoever follows and worships them. The possibility to use this new-founded religion as a means to control the masses was too tempting to pass on for the king. It was then, after merely 17 years after the vision, that Gridios and Mephia found themselves at the head of the Church of Bright. Visage is a god of transformation, of adaptation. The church teaches to strive to always be the best version of yourself in every situation, even if this means to hide your true self and your feelings. Society benefits from individuals who are able to sacrifice everything to be perfect in the eyes of Visage. Followers have to adapt to every situation to be able to manage it in the most calm and balanced way possible. This balance is sought after in every aspect of life. No swing of emotions, always calm, always in control. This leads to other practices being accepted if they mean the peace and calm are maintained, such as hiding your intentions, lying, feeling justified in doing wrong if it is to maintain balance. Telling the truth is sometimes seen as stirring the pot and creating an imbalance. The traits praised by the Church of Bride align with those that are commonly seen in people who suffer from lack of empathy and create many characters and masks to feel integrated in society. It is not a coincidence that the main symbology of the church is based on masks. We have many representations of visage, both in drawings, paintings, and sculptures. They present themselves with many faces, and it is said by the once lucky or unlucky, depending who you ask, to be visited by visage, that the faces morph and turn into your loved ones, so that you feel more at ease in the presence of the deity. I personally find this detail horrendous. The members of the church have their faces partially covered to symbolize this morphing process. They figuratively shed their true faces bit by bit until they reach the high ranks and have them completely obscured. The Church of Bride is now a pretty established organization, with buildings dedicated to worship visage in every city and many towns and villages in the Realm of Thevuin. The braziers, as these places are called, are open to anyone who wants to meditate or pray to the many faces of visage. The bigger building is in the capital Louvain, and it's a massive 3 stories round-shaped building, surrounded by the most gorgeous stained glass windows that fill the interior with multicolored light during the day. Inside the braziers, many paintings or statues are usually present to symbolize the transformative nature of visage, each representing an aspect of life in which followers would like to improve, such as love, wealth, strength, cunning, knowledge, and many more. Sermons are held by the high priest or priestess once every 28 days for 3 times in that same day. Many followers gather on these occasions and bring offers to the church. The offers could be food, animals, goods, or straight up money. The church accepts any kind of gift. The concept of light is very important for the church, so much so that they keep an eternal fire burning in the buildings of worship, hence the name braziers. The flame is chemically modified to cast a purple light, and it is tended at all hours of day and night. During the night, the building emits a dancing purple light through the many windows. We mentioned priests and high priests, but there are other ranks in the church. The organization has a precise hierarchy. The abbess and abbot are at the top. They not only control the church, but are also some of the most trusted advisors of the king. The second most prominent members are high priestesses and high priests. They are often the ones who hold the sermons and keep all the other members in check. We then have the priestesses and priests, who tend to be assigned to smaller towns and villages or travel to other realms to bring the tales of visage. We have the beacons, who are the ones who tend to the flames of the braziers, deal with followers on a daily basis, and in general make sure that the church buildings run smoothly. The last group are the flints. These are labor workers, common people who join the church and work in the kitchens, do manual and heavy jobs, upkeep the buildings and residences of the higher members. Anyone at any stage of life can join the church, but only some have the aspiration and the skills to climb in the ranks. Church members are not refrained from having families of their own, but the will and well-being of the church must always come first. Expanding on the miraculous abilities given by visage to the founders of the church, we know that those abilities were granted just a handful of times in the last 250 years, always to someone in the highest positions of the church, and always at one person only, not 2. These church members are now venerated as much as visage itself. Paintings and statues of these figures have been added inside the braziers in the last decades. The church constantly yearns for that kind of power. They want to find a way to make it available to all members of the church. with the blessing of Visage, naturally. It will mean to have the ability to accumulate more influence and expand the tentacles of the Church further and further in the continent, something that I am sure the deity itself would greatly appreciate. I have read many frightening reports regarding this. They all speak of gruesome experiments done on the bodies of magical users, torture practices on live human specimens, and mechanical constructions able to grant magical powers to whoever wears such contraptions. I could not find a strong proof of these practices, but knowing what I know about the Church, it wouldn't surprise me to find hidden laboratories in the basement of their biggest brazier. I will keep trying to unveil their secrets. If there really is an operation in place, such as some rumors suggest, the people must know the truth. There is so much more to explore about the Church of Bright, so you can expect more videos about them in the future. I enjoyed doing the intro for this video in a slightly different way than the previous ones and putting you, the viewer, into the world of Druwides. We can now assume that every time you check one of my videos, you are reading from a tome in the Great Archives of Ethedan. I made a ton of art for this video and also used artworks that I have been working on for years. It is nice to see them all together. Hope you enjoyed learning more about this faction, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you want to help with this world building project, you can subscribe to my channel and leave a like. You can become a member and also check out my Etsy shop for some cool stickers. You can find the link in the description. I also upload behind-the-scenes weekly vlogs here, so make sure to check those out too. As always, thank you all so much for your constant support, and I guess I will see you in the next video.